Long history of Star Trek bringing characters back from the great beyond. Cam, spoilers, it happened once again on Star Trek Discovery.
May.
Saint, yes, the long-awaited return of one May. But it happened once again in Saints of Imperfection here with the return of one Dr. Hugh Culber. I know, a bit of a spoiler, but look, if you're clicking on this video, you should know that. Cam, I think we should discuss how this stacks up versus other attempts to do this in Star Trek.
Yeah.
The thing that you and I keep coming back to, though, is the way that they did this, the execution here.
Yeah.
Where if you look at this mycelial network, it feels like it's almost kind of like a magical kingdom where anything can happen, the rules don't matter, and I wonder what that means for the series going forward. Do you think, as much as we really love the character of Culber in Season 1...
Yes, they never should have killed him in the first place. It was a bad decision. I think they knew it was a bad decision, and it's not like it really added anything to the show. It gave moments of, Ash Tyler feeling regretful, but ultimately they bring him back in a way where Ash Tyler doesn't have to feel regretful anymore. So what was the long-term impact of that death?
It's shock value.
Yeah.
So this didn't really work for us here. As much as we love the character of Culber, I think they should have just kind of left the genie floating out of the bottle at this point. Look, we'll have to find out in the coming weeks how it's going to play out with the other characters here, but...
The return may yield great things down the road. But in terms of an episode about bringing a character back, this one was a little problematic.
Yeah. But let's talk about other instances here and why it works in maybe, Star Trek 3, the search for Spock here. What they did, though, is they kind of established the rules of the Genesis planet.
Yes.
And so it made sense as to why Spock was returning.
And they made Nicholas Meyer put in that shot of the coffin on the Genesis planet.
Yeah, you said on the podcast, a bit of a retcon, but you know what? It's a retcon that works. In this one... Cam, did you really understand the rules of bringing Culber back here? Like, Stamets says Culber's energy passed through him while he's connected to the mycelial network. It's magic. Like, it makes no sense to me.
Yeah, like the Genesis planet, all of the rules of it are set up in Wrath of Khan.
Yeah.
And so it's one of the most elegant retcons in Star Trek in that, the coffin is on the planet. Well, what do you know? It renews everything. Like, that makes complete sense and you could explain it in like a sentence.
Yes.
Look how many sentences it took to explain the mycelial network doing this.
And did you even understand it by the end of it?
No.
No.
The thing is, they throw so much exposition at you that you're just like...
Okay, yeah. So that one didn't work. The Tasha Yar death. I think we both found that it was one of the worst deaths in Star Trek.
It might be the worst.
It just seems so unjust and, again, shock value more than anything else. Armis. Oh, God.
Oh, no.
But you know what? They give some breathing room. The only time that we see one Tasha Yar again is Measure of a Man. There's that kind of holographic image of Data acknowledging her. We get some breathing room. Bring her back in yesterday's Enterprise, and she has a very dignified way of going out of that universe that gives her kind of a heroic end that she deserved in the first place, even though it was a parallel version of it.
Sure, but not only that, but they also give that character far more gravity and weight, a couple years down the road than they ever did when she was on the first season of TNG. And you know what? They let it sit. They knew fans weren't particularly happy with the way Denise Crosby was written out of the show. And to be fair, Denise Crosby wanted to leave, so it wasn't like kind of the Culber shock death. It was something where the actress wanted to leave and they decided to kill her off.
Wait, did you see that big Twitter meme that was going around featuring Rick Berman and Denise Crosby disputing her going away party?
Yeah, that was awkward.
Maybe
awkward.
Just Google it for all those that have not seen it yet. Yeah.
But so I mean, they let it sit though, and I appreciate that when they decided to bring her back in yesterday's Enterprise, it felt like they had taken the time to come up with a really innovative, cool way that we'd never seen before on Star Trek.
Yes. And
it worked.
I don't know, but this was just kind of like they've described Discovery before. It felt like a bullet with one Culber's return. I didn't appreciate it. So let's go back to the rules of the game here. When a Jadzia Dax is dispatched in, again, a very callous way, a way that we really didn't find to be very good.
Yeah.
The rules of the game are already established here with the Dax symbiont, and they bring her back with Ezri. It works, and we kind of knew that it was inevitable.
Yeah.
But they actually found an interesting way to address it, where it's a Trill who has never actually trained to carry a symbiont. So it was kind of an interesting way to tackle this.
Again, one sentence of explanation needed.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it also gave us a lot of seeds planted there with regards to her relationship with Worf. Bashir,
Yep.
Quark. We loved all this. So I have hope that...
To be fair, we don't know what Culber will bring in terms
Exactly.
of character moments in the future. But
So we're hopeful that like it'll be worth it, but just on a week-to-week basis, this makes us frustrated. And if we go back to another character end that frustrated us, Kess in, The Gift.
yeah, turning into like space dust.
Yes,
Yeah.
but then again, once we have that whole magic situation come back in Fury, and she is just not the character that we knew, and it wasn't actually enjoyable to see her once again, especially trying to feed the entire crew to the Vidians.
It really just kind of tracked mud all over that character. Like,
Yeah.
it took a character that I know a lot of fans weren't big on Kess, but I think there is a dignity to that character, and the way she left the show gave her a really, I think, good finale. It was a very positive moment for the character, and then she comes back like that, trying to feed them to the Fidians, and you're like, oh, maybe Kess isn't so great.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, it felt mean-spirited in a way towards that character.
I guess the last substantial character death that we need to talk about, Star Trek Enterprise, is one Tucker. Series finale, they killed him off in a horrible way. Didn't try to bring him back, though.
No.
So it's got that.
Do you think they would have if there'd been a season 5 and they'd aired that episode?
Yes, Riker's holographic program had been malfunctioning, got it all wrong. That's why they made him chef.